Well, everyone, we are back, and the title of the stream might be a little bit too early, but I will say this. MSI 2023, the play-in stage is over, and we are officially onto the main part of the tournament, or what I say, the actual MSI 2023. But yeah, hopefully you guys are ready for this banger of a show. And yeah, let's get right into it. And what is going on, everybody? This is the Cloud9 podcast, season 7, episode 23. So this is the finale of season 7 for the Cloud9 podcast. And what a better way to end this season of the Cloud9 podcast than, I guess, Sean is going to be like, yeah, I love it. LEC lost both BO5s against Korea.
I would say, why does it say JDG1? Didn't GG win?
Oh, yeah, it's true. Yeah. Last time Sean had someone working in his house, drilling, and now he has a dog, apparently.
Yeah.
He went from a cat to a dog.
There's like 18 dogs around this area.
Why do you have 18 dogs?
I don't.
You had like 30 cats last time.
This apartment complex, and it's fucking not. Every person here I hate. They're a bunch of nut jobs.
Yeah. Well,
not as much
better
that
than last
idiot.
time.
Yeah.
At least you sound better than last time.
Yeah, I mean, not as much as that fucking idiot online, though. Definitely talk about that.
Oh, yeah, I gotta add in the Nisqy drama. So, I mean, aren't you French? I guess you can translate what he said. I don't know what he said, because it doesn't even give you a translation.
Basically, I'll talk about that just to start off real quick. Yeah, so basically, this incel motherfucker dumbass actually got mad because players cope with losses differently. So El Yoyo was like, I want to commit suicide after the loss. He literally said that. And then then he got mad, posted a tweet, harassed Nisqy because he was smiling after a loss. And not only that, all right, this is like the 1,000th fucking time he did this to him. The guy is literally harasses and insults anyone who doesn't fucking speak his language. All right. And he liked many replies that were sending Nisqy death threats. He undid them and now is trying to say he didn't, but he did. He liked many replies, sending him death threats, and pretty much sent his followers to send him thousands of DMs wishing him to fucking die after the match because he smiled in an image after a fucking loss. And these fucking nutjob followers of his they're saying Nisqy is the bad guy because after all that, and also, by the way, this is the same guy who literally does shit like send black people fucking monkey or blackface photos, all right? And does all this shit to just literally anyone who doesn't speak his language. They're trying to say Nisqy's the bad guy because after all that, he sent him a reply saying, your mother's a whore. Now, fucking facts. Your mother's a whore, fucking $5 whore. You had no childhood. All right. Also, I could use her this Sunday, if you don't mind. I'm looking for a fun time, buddy. Jamie. Anyway, I made this image here. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Jesus Christ.
That guy died, by the way, instantly. Yeah,
all right.
That's him. I hope he appreciates that. Go fuck yourself.
So
that's the drama in a nutshell. This that incel there looking for attention, and every photo of his, like, he has those glasses long as like he's the most insecure motherfucker ever who like tries to look badass. He's literally like rice gum.
This is crazy, guys. Like I literally just woke up and I saw what was happening, and I was like, oh my god, casters trying to be super mega edgy, and it wasn't even clever. Like, you know how Azael is like kind of clever with his, it's like half flame, half truth, but it's like teetering on the line of not being like over the top. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, and
But
also a
that
lot
is
of them just do it. Yeah, a lot of them just do it for humor. Like I know people were making jokes when Sword Art was like smiling and stuff. They weren't like actually, insulting him or saying why didn't he take the loss seriously. They were just making jokes like because he was pointing at the screen afterwards and showing it to Lost. So they're like, so they made like captions like, "Hey, look at my bank account after the TSM check." All right, but no, this guy is actually harassing him for it.
Do you know what's crazy about that that T1 win at 17 minutes? Before, the fastest team to lose at an international event was Faker. They lost to IG playing Sona Taric 18 minutes in. Now they delivered the fastest international game ever.
I thought it was still fastest. I thought theirs was like 15
No,
minutes.
theirs was 18 minutes. Theirs was 17:30. 30 seconds.
I thought it was 15 or some shit. Okay.
Like, do you know what Nisqy is, dude? After watching this series with T1, Nisqy is James Harden of League of Legends. Only good in a certain place. When it gets to the next stage, he is just not good.
Yeah,
he just is not good. He's James Harden of League of Legends. He's the James Harden. He can only play domestically. He's lost to Chovy pretty bad. He's faced Chovy quite a bit. He's lost to him pretty bad. He's faced Faker. He loses to Faker. Okay, so let's go to international events. So he went to international events starting in 2019 with Cloud9. Okay, in 2019, he faced... Did he go to MSI? No, he didn't. That was Team Liquid. He faced Chovy when he was on Griffin. He got pretty much blown out each time. He faced Caps when Caps was like Super Saiyan in 2019. Got blown out by Caps. Then he faced that mid laner that was on Hong Kong Attitude. I mean, he beat that guy, but that's like not really anything impressive, right? Then you have 2020. He didn't make Worlds, but he dominated the LCS with Cloud9. 2021, he goes to Fnatic. They go to Worlds. They're in the group of Hanwha Life, RNG, and PSG Talon. I think that's the same roster that also had Maple as well. He lost to Chovy pretty bad. He lost to Xiaohu pretty bad. And then if PSG Talon had Maple on that roster in 2021, I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah, he lost to Maple pretty bad too. Then in 2022, I remember that he was on Mad Lions, went to an international event. He lost to Jojo Pion. Lost to Jojo of all people. And then he got absolutely just put into the dirt by Zeka when they faced that one time against DRX when El Yoya pulled out Belveth. It was a really close game. The only reason why they lost that game was because, well, yeah, Nisqy's just a turbo internationally. And I know I Will Dominate likes him. I get it. You got to stick up for your friends. I get it. I know how you feel. But it's like, bro, this guy is not internationally capable of standing up with.
Yeah, he isn't.
Like it's just the man lost to Jojo Pion, people. That is like you can't even beat Jojo Pion in his first year. Okay, that's something. Last year was Jojo Pion's first year playing competitive ever. This kid's been playing since like the Fnatic Challenger days with Mr. Rawless and Broxa and Amazing. You know, Nisqy's been playing for. I've literally watched Nisqy start on Fnatic Challengers back when they had back when it was Challengers. I've seen Nisqy forever. He just can't face Eastern mid laners. If you can't even beat Xiaohu, that's a problem. I'm not disrespecting Xiaohu or anything like that, but it's like, bruh, what can they do? I mean, one sec. PSG Talon 2021. I'm pretty sure there was Nisqy 21. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Maple in the mid lane over Nisqy. All right, so people are probably gonna want us to go over Azael's tweet. I think we covered it last week. The bulk of what I was trying to say last week is beating teams you're expected to beat is really not an accomplishment. Like, and I get like some analysts were disrespectful with how they were talking about the LCS, but to be fair, why would they not be? The LCS has primarily sucked internationally. This is also coming off the year in 2022 where the LCS went, I shit you not, 3-15. 3-15. The LCS went, okay? They barely even took a tower, a tier 2 tower, right? They only took the tier 1s. That was it. They barely even took the tier 1 towers or tier 2 towers. It was pretty bad. guys. It was really, really extremely bad from the LCS. So when people were, kind of saying the LCS wasn't going to do well at MSI, I mean, the last previous international event showed that, I don't know why people thought the LCS would do pretty well at MSI, literally given the previous World Championship clearly showing the LCS compared to LPL and LCK is a very, very, very far behind. Now, the other added piece of context to that is the LCS did very well against the wildcard teams. And that is something where people should go, okay, they're going to do bad against potentially LEC, LPL, and LCK teams. But against the minor region teams, yeah, they're going to do pretty well against them. I mean, EG didn't drop a single game to the minor regions at all. They demolished Order, who was from Australia. They pretty much just ran through all the minor region teams at the wildcard teams at Worlds 2022. And even back when Cloud9 went to the play-in stage, they didn't drop games to the minor region teams. They only dropped those 2 games to Gambit. Remember Gambit Gaming? That fucking roster with I forgot his name. It was
Diamond
Kyria.
Frogs.
Yeah, it wasn't Carry. His name was Kyria. He was a legendary Russian mid laner. And yeah, they had Diamond Frogs on that roster too. There was the only 2 games they dropped were in that BO5. That was the same Cloud9 that also went, semifinals at Worlds. So when it comes to wildcard teams, it's the same thing I tell you guys about that H2K group in 2016. H2K should not get a benefit from being said, oh yeah, they went and beat INTZ with talkers. Yeah, real level of real strong group you're facing there. And AHQ when Westdoor was basically an old crippled man trying to play League of Legends still,
Yeah, and when Chowley was better, but they kept playing Westdoor anyway. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Because fans would send them death threats. Fans would try to get their YouTube channels demonetized for hate speech.
That sounds kind of familiar to something today, damn.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, I just don't give credit out for things that you should expect. I expect the LCS to stomp PSG, Brazil, all those teams. That should just be expected because resources are bigger. These teams have more money. The player base is stronger. Yeah. That should just be a given, Yeah. So when you say H2K beat INTZ, I look at you like they have forgiven, and he was better than every single person on INTZ. I hope you could beat INTZ.
But they beat Albus Nox. Come on.
Literally, Odo Wamne was better than every single person on INTZ. I hope you can beat Brazil. I hope. If you can't beat Brazil with Unforgiven and Yankos in their prime, I swear you probably shouldn't be in that group.
They beat Rainbow 7. That's quite an accomplishment.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. So, yeah, guys, I get what Azale is saying, but I'm not going to give credit where I expect the bare minimum is beating wildcard teams. That's the bare minimum. And, like Sean mentioned last week, there's going to be random times they upset. That's just the law of averages. At some point, something's going to happen to an upset. DFM made it into that group of death in 2021. Guys, what did they do? DFM, beat Cloud9 to get into the group because if they beat Cloud9 in that game, they auto-qualified to that group. What happened with DFM when they got into that group? They went 0-6.
Hey, listen, they almost won 1 game.
Yeah, in 10 minutes, and then the rest of the game, Yeah, Detonate. That's why they're always called Detonation Fuck Me. They've been fucking me since 2018.
Yeah, they really shouldn't have went over like 2 other teams this year.
I know you say that, dude, but it's like, if they can't even beat that, I don't want to see Vegeta, Goku, Piccolo gaming.
No, it's because... I don't know how to say it. It's because when it comes to wildcard teams, I've said this last week, I believe, but again, it's the fact that a lot of them, like in my wildcard region, it's like they don't even care as much. It's like they're there just for fame base and money. Basically, they don't even care about like doing good internationally. So when it comes to
they know Riot's gonna pay them.
So when it comes to playoffs, it's like they don't even try to better teams. So because of that, all the teams with like veteran players that are kind of washed up always make it.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. But when it comes to that like commentator analysis shit, I mean, yes, but at the same time, though, I mean, I'll say 2 things about that. Number one, treat EU the same way then, because outside of G2 for a couple of years, your region has been the exact fucking same. For the last 3 years, you've been just as bad as NA, if not worse, in some stuff like such as Worlds 2021. All right. And secondly, yeah, okay, it's fine if they don't do that, but what I will say is when they were doing that fucking top 8 draw, I'm sorry, that was embarrassing. Listen, it's fine for the fans to do, in the audience to do that shit. All right, when you're presenting a fucking Worlds or MSI draw for the top 8 on stage, you know, broadcasted to every region. All right, nobody wants you to then be like, well, picking C9, boo in the mic. Like, no, it's fine if the fucking EU fans do that, not for the fucking person doing the draw. I know it was just obviously like a tongue-in-cheek joke, but still, it's not. You don't. It was just cringe, flat out. You don't do that while presenting, and then also you don't then right after it ended be while on stage being like, shit, what happened? I'm supposed to do good for EU. It's like you're broadcasting for every region. Wait for the analysis desk to make those jokes and say that shit with your region. Fuck off! Don't do it on stage.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's
yeah, NA didn't do it last year. You didn't see them do that shit.
Yeah, what I don't. Yeah, it does the same thing too, and I don't get why. Because Azale had his point, and I really agreed with it. But I think he should have just laid it up with, well, this is what EU does at the play-in. This is what EU does at the play-in stage, right? Factor in G2 has lost to minor region teams. G2, I shit you not, lost 4 times in a row to Fongvu Buffalo. They were called Sanvoon Buffalo later on, but they literally lost 4 times in a row to Fongvu Buffalo, 2 times at a group stage, and then 2 times at an MSI stage. They also lost to... There was a time where G2 were on this massive win streak with Flakid and Targamos with that one roster. Then they randomly lost to a wildcard team. It was a wildcard team that beat them. I think it was PSG Talent. Then they started losing to everybody else. Then they beat EG to get that other good win against them. But yeah, no, guys, Europe's the one that drops those games, those play-ins to those wildcard teams. It's not really NA that does that. NA might drop a game here and there, and it's the thing with North America now where people just kind of like overblow, you know, our losses to pretty much everybody. Like, guys, I like G2. I love watching me some Mad Lions and shit like that. I love watching the LCK teams that I support, and the LPL one I support, RNG, which is not at MSI because they just turbo into their whole spring. But, you know, you gotta call those things out when they're thing, you know? Europe drops games to those wildcard teams. And you know how, like, when NA plays up against wildcard teams, how the games are just pretty much mostly stomps outside of, like, the odd game here and there? I remember games that Europe played against wildcard teams like Turkey, where Mad Lions definitely could have lost those games, you know? So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. It's one of those things where I just wish analysis was applied, you know, to both sides of the coin when you're looking at, you know, talking about, you know, the LEC and the LCS actually. All right, so let's go over the MSI 2023 bracket stage round 1. You had the LEC up first with GENG versus G2. They're 2 orgs that I support, so, you know, it's kind of awesome seeing them face each other exactly at an international event. But like I said before, on my show with Chaz on Sunday, it was going to be a 3-1. And I also make sure I specifically stated this. It's going to be a 3-1 because GENG just starts fucking around in draft. I've told people before, Nidalee is a shitty champion. Nidalee sucks as a champion. There's so many better picks than Nidalee. Hecarim, Kindred, Elise, Xin Zhao, Wukong, Jarvan. Yeah. Hell, I'll even take it if you play Rumble. I don't even care. Nidalee sucks as a jungler. They need to rework her as a champion. She literally is such a it's a Yu-Gi-Oh card. You play Match 4. You know what a term of glass cannon deck is? Yeah. That's what Nidalee is. She is a glass cannon champion. She only works really well if you get really far ahead. Really far ahead. You would have to be like 10-0 on Nidalee 10 minutes into the game for her to work. And I even said last week, if G2 play that shit against somebody else, that's not going to work against GENG. They literally are so like if T1 are really aggressive against GENG, then GENG's playstyle is neutralizing aggression. That's all they do is neutralize aggression, and then they do the aggression on you. Nidalee's not going to work against Peanut. Of all people, Nidalee would not work against Peanut. And guess what they do? They play Nidalee. And they get absolutely curb stomped. What a worthless... Yeah. I'd rather if Yai could play Bel'Veth. Why not play Bel'Veth? What's better than Nidalee?
It's like watching somebody play like a Tomb deck without knowing what to do.
Oh my god, it's like someone playing Tunes without Toon World in her. Why can't my cards work?
Yeah, but yeah, I figured they would get one because of that and the early game taking advantage like Peanut and such. But yeah, 3-1 was predictable.
And I know we talked about Caps as well. This has been Caps' worst year, guys. I've literally watched Caps since he was in Turkey. This is his worst year by far. Even last year when he kind of started off slow and then he peaked really hard, he played great last year. This year, how did Caps win All-Pro mid? What, we'll get to that later. How did Caps win All-Pro mid? I don't know how that happens. How did Nisqy
They always have bias for him. He's had many off years. There's moments where he's amazing and other moments where he's kind of bad, but people have bias for Caps. So
what's up, Michael? How you doing, man? All right, so this was the game. Game 1, G2 versus GENG. Guys, Caps just gets absolutely just... Guys, if Chovy can beat Faker, who's considered the best mid laner of all time, how can Caps beat him? Like, there's such a big difference between them. Like, you can see it in the laning phase. You can see it in how they CS. You can see how they move around the map. Like, Chovy, once he got over that problem where he didn't roam properly, he never really kind of synced up with his jungler, became so much of a better player, actually. I only shitted on him last year at Worlds because he kind of reverted back to that sit in lane, mid lane style kind of player. But no, Chovy's been, credit to him, actually roaming a whole lot more. When he still sits in lane for a little too long, in my opinion, but this guy is just the best mid laner at the tournament. GENG is the best team at the tournament. Oh, we'll find out that coming tomorrow when GENG faces... No, on Saturday we'll find that out when GENG faces T1.
I'm really glad that they made this new bracket so we can finally get new matchups like GENG versus T1.
Yeah, it's not like I haven't seen that all year, actually. And it's not like T1 doesn't have a winning record against them. Yeah, because T1 faced them first part of the year. They're 2-0. Then they faced again. They went 3-1. So that's was 2-1. So that's 4. They're already 4-1 against them. Then they faced again in those two matches. That would add in what 3, 6. So yeah, it's 10. They're like what 10-4 against GENG.
Jesus, I can't believe
T1 have the head-to-head record. T1 have the head-to-head record against them. I think 4 games. Regular season.
T1 are choke artists. That's all it is.
Yeah, they're like 9-3 or something like that. I mean, today against Mad Lions, we'll get to them later. I mean, there's a good chance GENG just do a 3-1 again. It's a good chance, right? But this series, I know people said, well, Hansama and Mickey X played well. Yeah, guys, Pays and Delight make them look like they were stick saying who he. Guys, they literally finished game 2 with G2 sitting at they were 0-7 toward the end of game 2. And it's just something with these Korean teams where even if they're playing not at their best initially, you just kind of have to expect that. They scale up with the event. GENG are not going to just play their absolute best in the bracket stage in round 1. I think people are not understanding that throughout history, Korean teams have really never played their quote-unquote best initially. They always just kind of scale up with the event. It's like the idea of peaking toward the end of the event, actually. So throughout this series, this was just mostly what people expected, actually. Caps played egregiously bad. I mean, Broken Blade had his moments. I mean, but Doran neutralized him pretty well. Then you also had Yike playing up against Peanut. Peanut kind of just read him like a book. Peanut's playing Maokai. Yike's playing one of the most aggressive junglers in Viego, and that's still not working. Hansama and Mickey X, which is supposed to be a pretty strong bot lane on paper, still just can't get it done. If one of the best bot lanes in Europe can't even fight Pays and Delight, no disrespect there, they're really good. It's what hope do you have? What hope do they really have if the best bot lane in Europe can't beat them? I don't know. This is pretty bad. And yeah, guys, they won game 3. Guys, Peanut's not been a Nidalee player since 2017. Why the fuck they draft that for him?
Yeah.
This man ain't playing no Nidalee. This man's old man right now playing Maokai and still winning championships. How to do that? Guys, I don't like the idea of mid Cassante. I've always hated the idea. You're gonna put Chovy, your best player, on mid Cassante. I'm good. Faker can't even play mid Cassante very well. And they get Delight Rail. As Rail Hill is saying, it's this is a bad draft. This is just a shitty draft. They knew it. They're okay, we just we are really, really disrespecting them. You can't do that.
Yeah,
It's not that bad.
I'll be honest. I don't mind the mid K'Sante pick in some situations. I think it can work out really well, but in situations that I think GENG, like in this game and T1 tries doing a lot, I honestly think that even like Olaf mid would be a lot better with what they're going for.
Yeah, because if they're going for a more all-in comp, Malphite in Italy and Olaf would be way better. Because I don't really know. I've never seen mid K'Sante ever do anything good. Like every time I've seen it, it's kind of been like that karma, I've talked about in the past. It's just not that good. It just kind of feels like on paper it should be a lot better, but in reality, it always just comes to like it just doesn't feel like it ever does enough. And yeah, guys, G2 win game 3, and guess what happens in game 4? This was actually a pretty close game in certain moments, but because remember, this game, FaZe was actually behind. FaZe and Delight were actually behind because obviously Draven's going to be able to get the cash-in stacks, and they felt like if they gave, Hansama his best champion, which is Draven, they felt like if they paired the comp up with Soraka can heal the all-in burst damage that this team had. The problem here with this game is Caps still was not playing very well on Aurelion Sol, and I know people said that Broken Blade did very well against Doran. Guys, Doran's one of the best top laners in the LCK at neutralizing the aggression of the other enemy top laner, and like you saw there, Doran neutralized the Kennen pick constantly because they knew that one of G2's best champions they constantly kept playing was Kennen, so they realized, wait a minute, if we just pick a champion that'll just isolate Kennen and not give him that chance to do a whole lot of burst damage, then we'll just simply have an edge in the draft. Or all G2 have been playing for Broken Blade has just been Kennen. That's it. He's mostly just played Kennen and Darius of all champions. Broken Blade, I don't think he's had a bad tournament at all, but he's not had a great tournament. He's not been like an X factor for them. Like he's not running it down, but you need Caps to be Caps. Like if Caps is not going to be the best Western mid that was doing very well back a few years ago, there's no edge for G2 anymore. Because that's just I don't know how to explain to you guys anymore. It's basically if your best players aren't even playing at their peak, then there's really nothing you can do. And Yike is a rookie jungler. He can't understand how to face against a Korean team. They probably I shouldn't you not have been probably getting slaughtered in scrims facing off against them. So that's just my thing, man. Did you want to say anything about this series overall, or was this kind of like the result you expected?
Yeah, this was pretty much what I expected, including how they won one game there, I guess. Again, this honestly, though, this whole week kind of brings up the question, though, about like what people wanted, because people wanted this sort of thing instead of the group stage and then having a top 4, because they said they wanted newer matchups and they wouldn't get it otherwise. But I mean, even if they got the newer matchups like this, I mean, the Korean and Chinese teams were still going to win anyway, and also there's still going to eventually just be those left in general in the top 4 and whatnot, as we're seeing. So I don't really see the difference in that. Like at least in the group stage, we got to see each different matchup in a best of 1. So
yeah. Oh no, my thing is, I think people wanted to see that initially up front as like different matches, because if you expect the expected results, then T1 faces GENG. It's like you kind of already seen that, Yeah, it's a bit different because the patch is different, and you expect like, okay, these players have figured out something different about these other players that can maybe counter them in draft. I just would like to see Cloud9 versus GENG. What's his face? GG face T1. But to be fair, even if that happened, the respective results still going to happen.
Yeah, they're eventually going to face each other anyway, just like the last time, or they're still going to get a draw where they face each other anyway. Like it's pretty much the same will happen. The only thing that's, also for anyone who disliked the Pays move at the start of the offseason, you're probably the same person who wanted Cuz over Owner. But anyway, the only thing that was good about this thing, I guess, objectively, is the lower bracket thing. I already said this before, though, just a personal preference. I'm less of a fan of it, and specifically League of Legends, because League of Legends, in my opinion, and with the games, I really think it's a lot more exciting if each and every series is like means a lot, and also there's a lot more potential for upsets to happen and underdog stories instead of if the better team loses once, then they'll just make it up in the lower bracket. So just for a personal preference, that's why, even though lower bracket is objectively a better system and makes sense, I just not a fan of it personally. But
Yeah,
either way.
because back when you had other MSIs, when certain teams were thrown out, you kind of wanted to see them again because they played like great BO5.
Yeah,
so now like you get that with G2, but it's like, do you really want to see G2 again? I mean, yeah, they get another chance. They might be able to pull something out of their ass, but it's like, given how they looked against Gen G, I just don't see it.
Yeah, but again, it could be said the other way around. Like, sure, like, yeah, you can say, so then if, the top team, the favorite, has a bad day, then they'll still get another chance. But that's why, then you have to come in motivated, like ready to win each and every game, not just, oh, well, had a bad game, well, I can make it up. Like, no, like you can say it the other way around, like of why it was a benefit not to have lower bracket. But again, that's the other thing, though. Like, if we had lower bracket, then it probably means that G2 wouldn't have won MSI in 2019 because IG or T1 probably would have came back.
Yeah,
and then we probably wouldn't have seen DRX win Worlds. We wouldn't have seen all those amazing moments and many others. Probably would have just had the favorites, come back and win. So, to me, I don't. That's why for me, just personally, I don't like it as much. I don't know.
That's because you're Canadian and you guys are always haters.
God, I just like big event, and a big event matches and hype up moments, and I think lower bracket kind of damages that. But for a competitive wise, though, it's objectively better though.
You have Mad versus T1, which just happened. Around our time period, like 8 to 5 hours of a difference there between us. You had Mad taking on T1. Now, this was a bigger mismatch than Gen G G2. Like, for me, hey, I'd be like, hey, G2 could probably get a game. No, Mad Lions T1. No. Okay, so this is what I want to explain to people. T1's, because people talk about a high ceiling and a low floor with sports. All right, here's the analogy. And that's why people don't understand. It's my personal way of looking at things, okay? T1's floor, this is most LCK teams, but let's just say faker teams in the S. T1's floor is better than Mad Lions' ceiling, okay? So even if Mad Lions are playing at their absolute best, T1's absolute floor, we're talking like to the floor, my clean, fresh floor, no dirt on it, just nothing on there. T1's complete floor is better than anything Mad Lions are going to put out. So look at game one. Mad Lions are playing at their absolute best. This is not Mad Lions fucking around. They're playing at their absolute best in this game. They can't even win. If they can't even win at their absolute best when they're playing at their ceiling, it's really not a way I can see you ever beating a Korean team.
Because they don't have a high ceiling. Again, then they have way too one-dimensional of a play style, sort of like what Rogue did last year, which is why, they ended up finally squeezing out that win at the very end in summer split. But we all knew that was pretty much the end, though, with that roster succeed in anything big. And that's kind of the case here. And, they were obviously going to get exploited at Worlds because players like Nisqy don't do as well there. That's why I said 3-0 instead of 3-1, because sure, I figured there would be a game where they would have a lead like this, but I just knew that they would.
We've said there's going to be a game like this where they come out swinging, but they won't win it because they'll just start making mistakes. This is a game they play too. So my issue with most Mad Lion rosters, which is they just play a little too fast. Instead of, you can play fast, but make sure you're making the correct map decisions. That's all you need to do.
That's why Gen G, won finals. Like, they played a bit slow and maybe boring to like fan wise, but they did it smartly. They got the job done because T1, went for flashy plays and stupid plays. Gen G just took a step back and analyzed it, and that's why they won finals. And because T1 are giant fucking choke artists, but hey.
And people say, well, Chasey played bad. Guys, Zeus is way better than Chasey. It really did. Even if Chasey was playing like did people actually think Chasey was going to play like he did against Adam? No.
You guys realize Zeus has more than like 2 champions in his pool, right?
Yeah. Zeus can actually play meta champions, unlike Adam, who can only really play like 3 champions well, and the meta champion's pretty bad for the most part. Then you also have a series where Nisqy, people say, he underperformed, but he's underperforming against Korean teams forever. Nisqy's never played well against Asian teams ever. So I'm not looking to that as a point of strength for them. Like later on during the game, even though they had a massive goal, they were at one point winning this game. They kept getting picked off at moments where they should not have been. They should not have actually been playing this fast to the point where they're not even taking proper map pressure. Like, okay, say the situation is reversed, because we saw the situation reversed in the later two games. In the later two games, the situation was reversed in a way where when T1 got a lead, they just completely just ran teams through. They ran them down, right? Now, switch that in this game. Say if T1 had the lead over Mad Lions in this game. Do you guys think this game is closed? No, it's just, sorry, it's just how it goes. They're just going to run you down too. So, yeah, Mad Lions' ceiling looks pretty good. But, you know, that's not going to really do much against T1 when they're not playing even at their ceiling. This is T1's floor right now. And that's been my thing with Korean teams and LPL teams is, you know, how good is the team that's facing them? How good is their floor and how good is their ceiling? If the Western team has a good mixture of both, then I could see a world where they do win. But I just really don't, honestly, you know? And people know, Mad Lions did not have a chance to warm up. And Mad Lions had a lot of games in the LEC to really, really iron out their kinks to eventually win the title. They didn't have that here. You're just coming in facing off against T1. Like, Mad Lions needed that prep time in order to actually get to where they got to, which was at MSI. And people also said this is why they didn't want to see Mad Lions at MSI. You know, this is why they didn't want to see them here, because they knew they have such an absolute low floor with these players. It's just not going to really do well internationally. And people say, oh, BDS would have did better. No. BDS, you know, in game one, Mad Lions were kind of winning it. BDS would have never had that chance, ever. That would have never happened. I tell you right now, BDS would have never had that chance to win this game, ever. That was just not going to happen. Vitality, no. And G2 will, who knows if we'll see G2 versus T1 again in this tournament. But yeah, I think right here is the moment where you kind of see things fall apart, because when Korean teams get a pick and they get a few advantages, they know exactly what to do on the map. And, you know, right here, even 30 minutes into the game, there's still 4,000 gold ahead. There's still a chance for them to actually win this game. There's a chance for Mad Lions to win it. What they do, they started misplaying on the map, taking fights that they should not have been taking. They didn't actually do proper side selection against certain targets. They let their Baron get stolen by Owner. It's like you're going to give a team comp with Aphelios and Nautilus Baron. You have to really make sure he doesn't get that. It's like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? You're this far ahead and you're making all these mistakes. This is what a Korean team exposes them for. They needed that Baron to win the game, and they gave it up. Once they gave up a Baron, it was over. It was simply over. There's really no way they can win at that point, because T1's comp is just better pushing with Baron, and the comp is just better overall. And I do respect the Mad Lions coaching staff in trusting Hylissang to give him his best champion, Pyke, right? And he played decently well beginning part, but things just fell apart. I'll give Carzzy some praise here. He did play well throughout these games. He even played well in the game they got stomped in. This is something you can do. If you're banking on Carzzy being your best player, then yeah, that's not going to happen, honestly. But hey, man, I know you like T1. What did you think about Ball out this series?
I mean, I haven't watched them as much recently because I fucking hate the Owner and fans. But kind of happy, I guess. But I mean, kind of not, because I don't really care. This was a guaranteed 3-0. I'm just waiting for real matchups and also for them not to fucking choke in the finals. So,
wait, is my dad coming back in my life then?
Probably not. So probably won't happen. They'll keep choking every finals, but they should win. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not taking credit away from DRX, but if you review that finals again, look at that Game 5 draft. It is one of the worst drafts I've ever seen in my life. They literally banned out all their best champs T1. Then they drafted an ADC that is Gume Yusi's fucking worst champ in the game, and then also gave Deft his best champ in the game, Caitlyn, and then also drafted Keria, who was the best performing player in that series on aggressive champs, a fucking mage. And there were so many other things wrong with it. Oh, it was one of the worst drafts ever. And they were still kind of outperforming DRX in that game, but
They're winning
because
that
it was
game.
such
Yeah. If you
yeah,
go
but
back and
because
watch
it was
that
such a
game 5,
bad draft, they were fucked. So
if you go back and watch that game 5, I told people they were playing not like the T1 that you see right here that's playing proactive when they get a lead and they start doing a whole bunch of things when they're ahead because they know how to play from ahead. That game 5 against DRX, they didn't do that. That's why I said they messed up in game 5. They had a Jeff and Beryl were very much the weaker bot lane in that game. They could have easily just lost the series alone from how bad Def was playing.
Yeah. And look, I'm not taking away. Well, I will take away, RNGs. That should have never happened. But either way, I'm not taking away DRX's win. But look, if literally T1 would have won both MSI and Worlds that year if they didn't draft like a fucking donkey in those last 2 games at MSI and fucking Worlds, that was embarrassing.
Yeah, so T1 outside of game 1, T1 completely just curb stomp Mad Lions. And to be fair, guys, this was the expected result. And I know people were mad about the bracket draw, and I've voiced my concerns about it too. But this is just going to be the result. These teams are just weaker. Like, just keep in mind, they put Owner down as Maokai in this game against Lee Sin. They gave Oyoya Lee Sin the first 2 games. If you can't even win from the advantages that you supremely get in the early game, there's really nothing you can do. There was moments in the game where, you had moments like this where Nisqy and Oyoya are winning 2v2s. Then you have a moment where Nisqy's chasing Faker. It's like, why are you chasing Faker? Why are you not helping Oyoya? And there's really like nothing you can do if none of their strategies are working. So, the next time we see Mad Lions is when they're going to face G2. Maybe Mad Lions might beat them. Even if Mad Lions, let's just say this as a hypothetical, even if Mad Lions beat them, let's just say they do. Doesn't really matter. They're going to get clapped in the next round anyway. If they beat G2, that's great, maybe. But I don't know what's going to happen. 2 of my favorite orgs in the LEC facing off against each other again. Whew, it's going to be crazy, right? But that is pretty much it for this series overall. Yeah, GENG and T1 cleaned it up, actually, against G2 and Mad Lions. It's one of these things where these Korean teams you guys are just too good, man. They just read these players like a book. It's looking pretty bad here. All right, so what else did I want to talk about today? All right, so we also have the expected rosters that have been coming out for the LCS. So, as you guys know, some of the expected rosters for the LCS 2023 summer split have been actually announced pending Riot approval between 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses, and 100 Thieves actually, and TSM and Immortals. So most of the rosters are pretty much finalized for the most part, and I'm going to be going through some of LCS EV's tweets and show you guys what these expected rosters are supposed to be. I know we talked about them last week, but we have new news that came out 5 minutes ago from LCS EV. Sources: NRG support Poom has been allowed to explore options during this offseason.
Yeah, this was, I think, expected. I said this before. Luger and Poom were the 2 biggest people struggling on CLG, in my opinion. And I figured they would replace them. And I guess they're getting FBI now. And who would replace Poom? I don't know, but I don't know if there's been any rumors of that yet.
Diamond is pretty good.
Well, I said this before. If there was a team that I think Zeyzal would go to this offseason, because I think any other options, the teams kind of like the supports they have right now, or it wouldn't be a good fit, or they're looking at other options. But if there would be one that I think would be that, because I think the one thing CLG's lacking is some of the things that Zeyzal's best at. And also, I think some of his weaknesses a player like FBI can kind of cover for. So if he were to go find a team this offseason for summer, then it would be that. Otherwise, what would be another support that could replace Poom? I don't know. Do you think they're just going to look for a fucking LCK option like other teams?
They could do the Astralis route and go the route you're talking about, because it kind of feels like if a team can't find someone, they're just going to auto default to a Korean. because I think with CLG, their biggest problem was like drafting for the most part. They kept drafting like small windows of win conditions for the teams. But if I'm going after players that they probably should look to upgrade, yeah, Poom and Luger were definitely players you could upgrade. I could say you could honestly upgrade the whole team. You know, I think that roster overachieved based off the expectations that people had for them, which is good. But I think you could also, you know, replace contracts as well. You could also replace Dokla. I think all of them are going to most likely end up getting replaced. Though Dokla, I mean, if you look at his Twitter thing, his Twitter bio, he's still under NRG. So, you know, that's what I think is they're going to end up replacing most of the players, though.
Yeah,
I
I think contracts and Palafox might stay, but the others, yeah. If they don't find any better options, they might keep Dokla then. But I think, again, I said this last year. I think Gen X would have been like a better version of what they wanted out of Dokla, because I think what they were trying to do with Dokla is have him be sort of like a SOAS type player, like, you know, taking some for the team and side lane in a lot, and making it up later mid to late game. And I think, you know, SOAS used to be amazing at that. And I think Gen X, you know, while he didn't have the best year, he still had great like CS stats. And I think he could have rebounded a bit in NA as Finn did, you know, when he went to CLG, became like easily the best player on that shit roster. So, I mean, do you think Gen X could be an option for them? Remember, they have 2 import slots left now since they're getting FBI instead of Luger.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Do you think they use their import slot on mid? Because I think the only player that's not someone that you might want to give up on right now is Palafox. Other than that,
I wouldn't get rid of Palafox, I think. And I think it was a snub for him not to get on third all pro team.
Yeah, like the only players that I think you should replace were the bot lane. Maybe, you know, because I actually think if you choose to swap out Poom with another support, maybe Luger looks a bit better. Because there's games where Luger's had where he's shown there's something there. He's shown that he has decent carry potential.
Yeah, he's had great games, you know, for his past 2 years on CLG and in Academy. It's just I don't know, it just hasn't worked out to the fullest extent. There are better players now that you could get. I still think there's definitely something there still, but I think he definitely needs more time, and I don't think getting another support would help as well with that at the moment in LCS, but I don't know, I could be wrong. I mean, we all thought that, you know, he wouldn't do anything without FBI, so you never know.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I think maybe this is something that's good for because they needed to switch up things after losing to CLG that way. Losing to EG that way. Because I know people said, well, the CLG roster, keep these guys together as a core. It's just, I don't know. These guys have only won one best of 5 together in the LCS. They've lost every other best of 5 together against Cloud9, Team Liquid. You know, they lost. Yeah, that's it. They lost two more BO5s to Cloud9. They lost to Team Liquid. They lost to EG. This is a roster where they've been together a long time. Try and see who you can upgrade. Actually, the only person that I think you maybe want to give a new support to was Luger, but they chose to swap out Luger for FBI. Getting rid of Poom is fine. I think he's been pretty meh, all things considered. Not seeing really much out of him. Dokla, I think you could probably easily replace him, but then again, who are you going to get to be a serviceable top laner for you right now, coming up in Summer Split? Then you have contracts. I think you could easily kind of swap out that guy too. But yeah, just Palafox and what would be the only guy I think they're keeping. All right, so the expected Immortals roster for the LCS 2023 Summer Split is Solo, Kenvi, Balulu, Tactical, Treats.
That is a nice 10th place roster there. Okay, you listen. So again, Solo, if you're getting better players, then fine, you can deal with that. Everyone else,
10th place vibes.
Yeah, okay. They needed Balulu did okay under the circumstances when coming in and had some good games, but he is a guy who's really only good with like a couple of pocket pick champs, and he's like Set or the Aurelian Soul, and he's always showed that in Turkey. He's definitely not somebody, in my opinion, that I would have kept for summer. Like I don't know. They're definitely selling their fucking slot after this year. I can tell you that. Oh god. Tactical though, not to get rid of him and over other options is kind of embarrassing. But I guess they want that past fucking chemistry. I guess whatever it was, fucking TSM Academy or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah. My thing here is, what the hell is this? I mean, getting solo over revenge is kind of an upgrade. Like that is an upgrade, but it's nothing that's gonna put you into like top 4. You know, Kenvy's been dog shit ever since he's been in the league. He's been just as bad as Revenge for the most part. They've both been running it. Bululu, yeah, he had good games when he came in based off the circumstances because Ablaze Olive just played really bad. But how good is he throughout a whole split? You know, Tactical has been the worst ADC the whole split, essentially, outside of Tomo and what's his name? Spawn, right? Treats, I think he's a good player, but you know, with this kind of roster, he's gonna look pretty bad, actually.
Hey, listen, they have an LCS champ on their roster. Technically, do you know who that is?
Solo.
Yes.
Well, no, Tactical deserved to win those finals he was a part of in 2021. He's technically a 2-time LCS finalist.
You know, I was hoping you to say Treats because he actually is one, because he played some playoff games when TSM won that rig title, and then I would say and then I would say no Solo, you know, because Fly was the runner-up that year. All
right, let's go.
You ruined my joke. Fuck you.
The expected FlyQuest roster is Spica, Impact, Vikla, Prince, Vulcan.
I mean, that was expected, but again, how do you think Vulcan's going to do with communication?
That's the thing. If they do that Korean boot camp like they did before spring, that might work out very well for them. They just needed a stronger player than Ayla. That's just who they needed. Now, will Prince be able to synergize very well with Vulcan? If I factor in, Impact and Vulcan played together last year on EG, and they had a lot of success, actually. So it's proven that these two players work. I'm not the hugest fan of Spica, honestly. I never thought he was honestly that great, as people like to point out. But then again, if Vikla can get back to his spring form before the break, then I think they'll do pretty good with him. Prince, we know for sure is going to be good, but there's been moments where I don't think it was him. I think his mental just broke apart. I don't think he's bad as people made him out to be. He was playing just fine for the most part, but there's nothing you can really do given the shitty situation that FlyQuest put him through the entire spring split.
I mean, I still think somebody's getting fucked over here. I mean, it would have been great if he went to Team Liquid, but I guess they want to stick with Core JJ for some reason. I mean, I don't think Spica's like, I think he can still kind of good. I just think that him as a player is similar to Santorin, where he does better on teams like non-super teams.
Yeah. All right, let's go through the other ones, being the expected 100 Thieves roster for the LCS 2023 Summer Split is Someday, Closer, Quid, Doublelift, Busio. Oh, Lord.
Why are you still rolling with Doublelift? This is embarrassing.
Doublelift had the biggest say in the roster. They brought back Kane, who he won titles with. You know Doublelift wanted Someday back. You know Doublelift did not want to play with Tenacity. I don't care what people say. He's being a little too nice here. I know who Doublelift really is. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. This guy does not want to play with rookies. Guys, he literally did not want to play with a brand new rookie support before 2021 and opted to retire when Reginald didn't give him what he wanted. He does not like playing with rookie players. I don't know who he's fooling. He's definitely not fooling me. There's a reason why he was like, I'm not really buying into this rookie player anymore in Tenacity. Can I have Someday back? It's like, bruh.
Yeah, it is actually kind of funny, though, how they do that whole, like, you know, Hall of Fame thing for Someday, like a tribute, and then, like, so long, and then after one split, okay, you're back. We need your help. Fuck.
Tenacity is running it down.
This is fucking bull. Whatever, I would have trusted with Tenacity for, I think it's whatever. I don't think he was playing that bad at all. I think he could have. I don't think it was the issue. I think he was definitely playing better than like Doublelift and Busio and Bjergsen. Actually, I think he's better than those three. I think he was improving, but again, they don't want to trust the process with some of these players and improving, like Cloud9 did with Fudge, and it worked out. You know, they could have done it with Tenacity. Whatever. I just think it's embarrassing though that fucking. I mean, again, he has control over it, and I guess they brought him back out of retirement, and he's like old. He might not get another chance after this year, so it honestly just feels like they're being nice to Doublelift and just want him to play for the full year because otherwise, there's no reason Unforgiven shouldn't be playing over him. There's no reason of how he's been doing.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I've talked about this 100 Thieves roster for a bit. It's just Quid. You're hoping Quid works out. Like, let's just say, all things considered, Quid work out, and he's one of the best mid laners in the LCS. That's for sure an upgrade over Bjergsen. It's for sure. Something Closer had pretty decent synergy last time they played together, but the guys are not to rebuild that synergy coming into summer. Double and Booster guys were not a good bot lane. I don't know where people thought. No, they were a terrible bot lane. They couldn't even play Caitlyn Lux.
Yeah. Yeah,
they defaulted to playing Jinx Thresh in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. That's what they defaulted to.
Yeah,
we
can't
people win shit. Jinx Thresh.
People nitpick certain games, so they just focus on the games where Doublelift just picked Zeri every time, and then his team literally had to drag him across the finish line, give him literally every resource in the game. Mm-hmm. And if you watch those team fights where where they won and he got like a pentakill and shit, and then he got like player of the week. He was not doing good in those team fights. His team literally had to block like every fucking bit of damage and hook everybody for him to finally kill everybody on Zeri and win those team fights. And even then, he wasn't doing that good at all. He was taking forever to kill everybody. He was shit.
Mm-hmm. So, and Closer, he had a relatively underwhelming spring split, but remember that was also partly due to the fact that, playing with a rookie top laner, a rookie support, he has no synergy with. There's so many issues. He was the best
performing player, though, on the roster.
He was one of the main reasons why they actually started winning a lot of their games when they went on that win streak.
Yeah.
Like I said before, them grabbing Bjergsen was just a mistake. And I said that last year, I'm saying it now. Them grabbing Bjergsen was a flat-out mistake. They should have never have gotten that guy. Like, I get it. You want to be nice. You want to give Doublelift what he wants. I understand it. I do. But it's like, no, man. Like, they literally beat Bjergsen both times in the playoffs last year. 100 Thieves did not lose a game to Team Liquid. The regular season and in the playoffs, they only dropped 2 games to them. They beat Bjergsen every time.
They lost to a guy who was literally a substitute for 2 splits on the last place team in the LEC. Not even playing, at least, on there. A substitute. Not even playing for them. They lost to that guy.
Yeah, I mean, do I think this roster will be a bit better? I mean, to be fair, remember, guys, this year it's different for the world slot. Now, because they punish you for not going to Worlds if you're 4th. If you're 4th now, you get that one chance to get into the, Worlds play. I don't know. It's like the Rumble stage they call it now for this year, moving forward. Because it's going to be the 4th place from LCS and LEC will fight each other for that last spot. All you have to do now is get 4th. If you can get 4th, you can get a chance to get into Worlds. So you have to kind of think to yourself, is this roster good enough to beat the 4th place LEC team? That's all you really have to do.
Well, and honestly, that's why I was kind of confused with why EG decided to blow up their roster because, they were struggling, but they were still ended up in top 4, and they could have kept improving. So that was
definitely a money thing.
So money thing, but also definitely some internal issue with the fucking ownership. I think for sure that was definitely something involved in that for that reason. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Quid, it's going to either end up one or 2 ways. Either number one, he won't be one of the best mid laners in my opinion, like to start off, but he'll definitely be good to start off, and then maybe he'll reach it there or not, depending on how his development goes. But he definitely has that potential. Or B, this is going to be a terrible fit for him, a terrible chemistry, and he's going to look like Crown.
Yeah, that's the 100 Thieves roster. I mean, like I mentioned before, guys, if you get 4th, you can get a chance to get in the Worlds. If some of these rosters are not good 4th place material, you're getting your ass kicked by the LEC team.
You know what I hope? I hope Golden Guardians and some other team upsets in playoffs once again and makes it into the top 3. So then FlyQuest is 4th. So then we have a great chance of winning against the LEC 4th seed.
So
that would probably be like Vitality, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'll probably depending on championship points. That would get the 3rd teams in. So you're looking at potentially. Oh no, look, the rosters got all flipped. Hey, maybe it's Fnatic that get that 4th spot. Okay.
Fuck.
So this was another rumor that was going around. Evie put out where it said this was the original tweet. Now there's an update to it too. So the first one was sources. All 10 LCS teams have reportedly voted against making NACL mandatory for 2024. However, they are pushing for the rule to be dropped starting with this summer split. Riot is expected to announce their decision on Monday regarding whether teams will be required to have a NA Challengers team. Yeah, because guys, these teams are not making a whole lot of money. It's really expensive to run these orgs, players, staff, coaching, chefs, living expenses.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, like I really don't understand this when there are many orgs and brands in esports that you could just give, lower like seed teams to and in these leagues, sort of like what they do in Valorant and what they do in EU with like Carmine Corp and such. So it's kind of confusing how they just did this.
Europe voted for this, I think, last year. Yeah, Europe voted for this last year to get rid of the requirements for a challenger team. Now, because people think, oh, it's just NA teams who don't want to just fund the challenge. No, guys. This is a requirement to have a challenger team. You can also have one if you choose to. It's not like a yes or a no. You can have one if you want to pay the extra money to have a challenger team, but this is not going to be like, hey, you have to have a challenger team. The update is the announcement has been delayed twice now, as well as the NACL starting date will be delayed. Okay. I personally think these orgs have never really utilized their academy team very well. I think the only team that's ever utilized their academy team was like Cloud9 for the most part.
At Cloud9, and there's some moments where 100 Thieves, but they've kind of also know, like they brought in a bunch of players at like a young age and, like built them up like tenacity and stuff, but they've kind of then, just dropped them later on, and then they went to other teams and then made the LCS there. So kind of 50-50 with 100 Thieves, but for the most part, yeah, the only one who has really utilized that, in an actual way is Cloud9. And then I guess you can maybe say 100 Thieves for 1 year.
Situation
this
where
year.
TLs did it. I mean, I'm not like there's been other situations where other orgs have oddly used their academy team, but the notion of an academy team was never what people thought it was going to be. And it's always this glorified thing of like, oh, well, yeah, you can just have this other guy to practice with and he'll help each other out. Guys, they're not trying to help each other out. They're trying to steal each other's jobs. None of these guys are helping each other out, okay? That's just a pipe dream that has never existed to begin with. Before we go over that video for Team Liquid, the expected Evil Geniuses roster for the LCS 2023 Summer Split is Revenge, Mayo, Jojo Pion, Unforgiven, and Ayla. Peak mid.
Okay, so our Mayo getting on an LCS team sort of makes me happy, that because after all the work he did on Team Liquid Academy and then he got left behind, it definitely has a good, game IQ, and he's definitely in the last like 3 years have looked a lot better than when he was called Greg. But yeah, I mean, definitely better junglers available though. And I mean, he took a split off because he didn't get on any teams and became an assistant or positional coach or like an analysis for Cloud9 and won there. He did a great job, so I thought it's going to stay. But then he left to pursue other options, and they got Duffman, and I guess this is the reason why, because they offered him a spot. Well, again, happy to see, I guess, but if we're being real, I mean, there were better options for junglers available at the moment, though, and cheap ones as well. Even fucking Tomio could have been a better one, but I guess they wanted some guy with experience, obviously, and I don't know. That's weird. Revenge fucking kill me. Ayla fucking kill me. The other two, okay. So, yeah, you got 2 out of 5. Good job.
No, yeah. I mean,
This is so weird. This is such a weirdly
odd roster.
Yeah, this is one of the weirdest constructed rosters I've ever seen.
Like, Unforgiven played really well on Hunters Academy. He could have replaced Double Lift. I'm glad he got a starting spot on a roster. I'm glad for him. I think he was massively disrespected in the offseason.
I feel bad for him, though. He was playing with literally the worst support in NA history. There's some garbage Oceanic support, and then he goes to an LCS team. Hey, you want to play with another garbage Oceanic support?
You want to play with Revenge?
Oh,
that's their pitch. You can play with Revenge, or you cannot have a spot at all. He's like, I mean, I guess I'll just sell my soul to play with Revenge, I guess. I don't know who Revenge tricked into thinking he was a good player. Guys, Revenge is the reason. Revenge is not the exact, obviously, the main reason why it's 5 players, right? But he was one of the main reasons IMT sucked for 4 splits in a row. EG sees that and goes, I gotta have that guy on my team. Ah! What is this?
Yeah, it's like, hey, you know, we just saw, you know, fake God.
Not Dokla, who's been, you know, I don't think Dokla's that great, but at least Dokla would have been a better option than Revenge. Dokla's at least had moments where he's looked pretty, like, good in carry positions. Revenge has never carried a single game, guys. This guy's probably carried, like, 4 games
is just
out of
proof,
4
though.
splits.
They do not scout. They just go off of recognizable names. If they actually scouted, then yeah.
You know what someone told me? The pro players think he's good. And I said, you do know that pro players disagree with each other, too. So if pro players said that they didn't like Revenge, would you agree with that, too? It's like, no. Okay, it just proves that people just like this guy. They don't like his gameplay. Because that mindset doesn't work. People, the only argument about for Revenge is, the pro players like him. They say he's good. But other pros are going to say he's bad. So that's negligible. Not every single pro thinks he's good. Because if every pro thought he was good, he would be on a top tier team. Guys, Cloud9 would never pick up Revenge ever.
Yeah,
it would never be a
here's
possibility.
The thing with Revenge, he is somebody who at least like doesn't int across the map, and he's an NA resident. So for that reason, you know, he at least holds himself decently in LCS. So for that reason, people just automatically think that, and then see his solo queue rank and think he's good. They have that bias with players like that. They had it with Stunt, with Kumo, with many others, even though they're really not that good at all. And yeah, this is weird, but this is just proof. They don't scout, though.
Think of it this way. Revenge was the longest tenured player on Immortals. They chose to get rid of him for Solo. He was their longest tenured player. Even they realized, this guy's trash. Go take him.
And Solo was like ranked the worst top laner last split, and he was still better.
Immortals was that, because people say, oh, these orgs don't give these guys a chance. They gave Revenge a chance. He was not good in Academy, sucked in Academy.
They gave him a chance for 3 years, basically.
And he stunk, guys. That's the reason why IMT were like, you can have him. He's terrible. And I'll say this, though. If he does play good in summer, yeah, I'll give him his props. I'll be like, okay, he played good. But looking at this move right now, no, guys, he's one of the worst tops in the LCS, probably the worst. He's never even been considered a top 4 top laner. I want to go through the rankings for LCS top laners that the analysts did. Because I think you did yours. The analysts for the LCS have never had this guy even in 4th. He's always been 7th. He's never even been top 6.
Yeah, no, he's always been in 8th to 7th top laner. He's always in that range. He was basically like fake God, and then fake God eventually became a last place one. But yeah, this is oh my God.
Like even people like this, low. Even people like this, like Gamehouse, they have him. What do they have him at?
Oh my God, they ranked him high.
What, they ranked him high? No way. Where,
Look. Oh, never mind. Sorry. When I saw the image, for some reason I didn't see Licorice there, so I thought it was in reverse. I was like, wait, 10. Did they rank that motherfucker like 3rd? Okay, yeah, they ranked him 10. And to be fair, he was probably a bit better than Solo maybe last split, but that's it.
Yeah.
And they replaced him with Solo. So what does that tell you?
ESTN. That sounds a lot like some CNN shit. All right.
Yeah, this is
power
just
rankings. Like you guys, you can go through the LCS top lane power rankings for most analysts. They never have that guy in top 4. I think they just have to be nice to him. He's not that good. He's just bad.
Yeah, you know,
the reason why people were mad at Licorice for playing bad was because Licorice at one point was the best top laner in the LCS. He's been to Worlds.
Wanted to see it again, but they were never mad at Revenge because he's always shit.
You know, Revenge has no barrier. He's just not good. Revenge is just not good. There's no like standard for revenge. Revenge's standard is, hey, are you not 0-10 in lane? Oh,
hey, did you
God.
not lose your full turret in 10 minutes? Good job.
Remember that game against Cloud9 when he played Fiora, he looked like absolute horseshit.
Remember when he played Ivern top? That was hilarious. But yeah, this is shit. You're like, hey, you know, we just saw players like Bradley and Fake God and Hoon play Masonly and stomp everyone.
Yeah,
but you know,
didn't Philip play decently well?
Sort of, yeah. And then you know, many other players, and then they're like, you know, we want revenge though instead. And then there's the same thing with supports, like, hey, you know, we realized we just saw Ayla play like complete garbage in every game this split, and completely ruined FlyQuest. And then, you know, we see supports like Trevor and stuff who did amazing, but you know, Trevor's 27, so we can't play him. Let's just get Ayla. Who, by the way, Ayla is like old as fuck as well. He's like 24, so have fun with that. Like, I'm actually sad though, because Trevor's never gonna get a chance, even though he played amazingly in the amateur circuit and tournament on what's that team again? The Cincinnati Fear. He was easily like the best support in that whole tournament on Cincinnati Fear and got them to top 4. But because he's 27 years old and with no LCS experience, they're never gonna sign him. They're never gonna give him a chance.
Look at this. Even people like League on Lock have him 8th. This is their spring season power rankings.
That was always where they ranked him, 7th to 8th.
Yeah, even with LCS, guys, LCS analysts the same way. Nobody has this guy above 7th. He's never even been considered above 7th. That's not 6 is middle of the pack. They had him lower than someone like Tenacity, who's never even played competitively.
I'm laughing at who they ranked 1st and 4th.
You know.
Summit number 1. Hell yeah.
Dokla over Impact.
Great. Hell yeah.
Yep. Hell yeah. Impact. That means they had Tenacity over someone like, okay, they have these kind of correct over, like, I guess this one.
Yeah, honestly, the more that I look at this, maybe Rich will do good in LCS.
Look at how the floor is low for Revenge. Look at the standard is low for this guy. They had him ranked lower than a person who had never even played LCS before. That's the low. People have low stock on this guy.
Yeah, when Dokla's 4th, then the ceiling's pretty low, and you still couldn't do it.
Lord. And as you guys know, Team Liquid are going to be keeping their same roster. Like I said before, I think that's a mistake. You know, this roster.
I don't know. It may be, but I mean, I would have at least replaced Core JJ again with Winsome, but we'll see. Again, though, Marin was garbage as a coach, and he literally did not help the players improve at all. So maybe that was just the whole issue. We'll see, but it was a stupid choice they made. It's like, literally, I like Marin, and I hope he continues in the scene again as a coach, but literally did nothing in League of Legends for 5 years, and then just shows up and they give him the head coach job. And over a guy like Rainover, who literally every team he went to, he did a fantastic job, knew exactly what the players needed, improved them. The only reason why he left Cloud9 or stepped down from the head coach job and then went to Matt as a positional coach and such, you know, the last couple of years is because he just had like some issues and, you know, on stage and stuff where he just wanted a lesser role at the time, right? But as an actual coach, he was amazing and should have been the head coach from the start and Marin as the assistant. And then maybe Marin would have still been on Team Liquid because maybe he would have been better as an assistant. So it's stupid to me how Team Liquid did not realize from the first place that was a dumb move and that Rainover would have been a way better choice as head coach.
I always kind of figured he would get to be the head coach anyway if Marin failed. Like, these orgs always go, I all in on this guy. Right when it doesn't go the way, they switch something up. Yeah. It happens every time. And, like, maybe Summit can be a whole lot better. Maybe he can. I don't know. Like, Core JJ's, I think, if he doesn't do anything this year, I think he will retire. Because there's no way they keep Core JJ again after this year. There's no way. I just don't see it.
I'll be honest. I think this was kind of, whether he did good or not, I think this was, unless he wanted to go to another team like fucking Dig or something the next year, I think this was probably going to be his last year anyway, because I think he was thinking about kind of possibly retiring after that year, that or joining an org like 100 Thieves. But then they, he's loyal to Team Liquid though, and they came to him with that offer, and he, like a big paycheck, and then also to help develop young guys. So he's probably like, okay, I'll do this, but I'm probably out after this. I'm probably done with my playing career, sort of like what 100 Thieves was trying to do.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's going to pretty much wrap everything up concerning the LCS. The LEC, we talked about that last week. So, yeah, MSI 2023 is underway, and we're going to get to watch the LCS's turn tomorrow. Cloud9 versus BLG. Yeah. Saturday. Okay, so we already predicted C9 BLG and JDG GENG, right? I think you didn't. I have BLG winning 3-2. I think it'll actually be a pretty close series.
Well, no, I wasn't there on that stream. You didn't invite me, I think. But my prediction those were it was GENG 3-1, T1 3-0, and then JDG 3-0, and the Cloud9 BLG series is still one that I'm literally going back and forth on, and it could honestly lead up until the day that like the first match starts is when I have my final prediction, because I keep going back and forth on it. But what I'll say on the stream though is it will definitely, I think, be like around a 5-game series. If not, then it should be a 5-game series, but there might be like a game where the team trailing behind should like tie it up 2-2, but they choke the 4th game. Either way, will be that close. And the winner that I'll say on stream will probably be BLG, but I think Cloud9 definitely has a great chance, and I think they possibly should be the favorites, honestly. I think MNS, Berserker, and Blabber, if they show up, should be actually better than at least those 3 players, and then Fudge and Svencha, at least not Int, but we'll see. So yeah, Cloud9 heading into it, I think, are actually the favorites, but I still think BLG will win, and I'll go 3-2.
All right. Let's see. I have BLG 3-2, JDG I have 3-0. There ain't no way Golden Guardians beating them. I don't care what.
No, Golden Guardians is going to win MSI.
Sixer is going to clap ruler.
Yeah, he's going to get a pentakill.
And Saturday, we have a rematch of the LCK 2023 Spring Split Finals, T1 versus GENG.
That's kind of weird. I thought they were going to do lower bracket first in the same week.
That's what I thought too. Yeah. I just know before I root for GENG. GENG do it 3-1 again. 3-1. Troy's gonna put Faker to the dirt.
Jesus. I guess why they're doing it is because they want to, if they don't want to eliminate any teams left, because so viewerships for some fan bases don't drop, and there's still a lot of promotional stuff they could do, I guess, for next week for the opening, I guess. But so I guess that's why. But I think it would have made more sense to do the lower bracket first. And yeah, LEC did definitely get clapped. Why didn't Chaz show up today?
Oh, what's up, Chaz? He's at work. He can't show up weekdays anymore. He's off on the weekends.
Yeah. By the way, if you're ever on Twitter,
you're my second choice.
If you're on Twitter soon, Chaz, after work, send that Jamie Mulatto guy just a monkey photo and then block him.
The next match, you have Mad versus G2, a rematch of the LEC 2023 Winter Split Finals. This is basically kind of just for bragging rights, because let's be honest here, guys, G2 or Mad are not winning MSI. I mean, I'm saying G2 win. And I like all 3 of these orgs. I like them all, but like, holy crap, I think G2 are going to win 3-2. I think it'll be a back and forth series overall. I think it'll go to 5 games, but I think G2 will edge it out overall.
I hope Mad wins, but I don't think they will. I think we'll go 3-1 G2. I think they're going to pick early game like Elise and stuff on G2, and I think it's going to really work out well and punish them really good. And I think Chasey is going to definitely do better than Broken Blade, though, as long as he's on his comfort picks. But outside of that, I also think Karzi might. How do you think Karzi is going to do actually against Hansama?
I think he's actually played really well this from the past
he's been playing really well this
yeah.
year.
So it really just depends on which if El Yoya gives the bot lane jungle pressure, it could go either way because you don't really see El Yoya going to the bot lane for Karzi and Hylissang. It kind of just leaves them all on an island. Whereas with G2, Yike does visit the bot lane pretty consistently. So, yeah, it really just depends on your jungler matchups. If whichever jungler places the right amount of pressure bot lane, I think it's going to have the edge. Like Nisqy and Caps, Nisqy and Caps, they've not really been playing well. It's kind of just a coin flip who's going to really play better on the day.
Yeah, well,
Broken Blade Chasey.
I don't know. I think Nisqy could get the edge over him if he sticks to champs like maybe Ahri and if El Yoya really helps him out in lane, because I think that's the only way he's going to be able to beat him. Though I think if he picks champs that could picks champs that are sort of like Ahri and he stays a bit further back in his lane, so Caps doesn't just like beat him 1v1. I think that's the only chance they'll have there in that 1v1, because Caps has been not been very good, so it's not so they could take advantage by doing that if they don't play risky there against Caps. You're muted.
It all just basically comes down to who are they really going to draft and play for? That's really all it boils down to. Because if they draft because Broken Blade, the only thing they give him is Kennen and Darius. Like, he's not really getting anything else as a priority but those champions. If Chasey can play like he did in the finals, Broken Blade's probably not going to do pretty well. But it's all a coin toss. Like, it's really just, there are aspects of G2 that are good. There's aspects of Mad Lions that are good, but both of them have decent aspects where you can see the series basically going, I can see going either way, but the key difference is, will you get rid of Hylissang's champions? They need to get rid of Pike from Hylissang. He cannot have it any game.
Yeah,
he cannot have Rel in the game either.
Yeah, definitely not.
Because even against T1, he definitely had some good plays even against T1. It's like, you're going to give that to him against him? It's like, no, you can't give that guy Pike as an animal.
This is what I think they should probably do. I actually think El Yoya should play more from mid lane, actually, and then later on, in maybe the 10-minute mark or 9-minute mark, Nisqy roams down the bot lane. I think that would be the best strategy.
Or maybe they should contact that guy that was flaming Nisqy, and maybe they should contact him for draft advice.
Yeah, because he clearly knows a lot, right?
He already knows, if you're smiling after a loss, and it means, you're a Nazi, right? Yeah, what a great fellow there. Also, this isn't he's done a lot more than this and a lot worse ones. Like, this isn't even anywhere close to the shit this guy's posted before. But this is just a little tidbit for you because I saw a reply of it. Because somebody was trying to repost that reply to make Nisqy look bad, saying his mother is a fucking whore. So then this guy replied with this as one of his fucking things that he posted before. Yep, it's actual fucking racist, this guy. Oh, but no, let's fucking, he called his mother a whore, though. Boo-hoo. Boo fucking who. Yeah, and she is. Sucks dicks every night for $5.
Oh, I love that.
Actually, no, not even that, for probably a nickel. Fuck's sake.
Sucking dick for nickels. Can I have these?
Listen, I'm sorry your parents weren't in your life, buddy, but maybe don't take it out on pro players, all right? I'm sorry that your life is miserable. So when you see somebody smile, it hurts your soul. It hurts your soul so badly. I know that. Listen, just try to think before you post shit. All right. And if you're gonna post shit like that, at least be funny. That was just cringe.
And guys, we're gonna wrap it up here today. I'll probably just go start streaming League of Legends for a little bit. Obviously, mastering my Jinx mechanics. Oh my God, Amaranth is gonna be streaming. Oh my goodness. She's wearing a sexy red dress.
Motherfucker, do you actually have notifications on?
No.
When she streams?
No.
You are pathetic.
God, Lee. She's going to be doing something in Texas very soon, a big streamer competition. He's going to be a judge. Oh my goodness, that's Amaranth is wife material, Sean. How do you not see these things?
Jesus Christ.
Well, guys, we'll see you on Sunday. Yes, we'll see you guys Sunday. Right now, I'm on another vacation from YouTube. Pretty dire straits again.
Wait, what? How?
Oh.
What happened?
Yeah, it's another random vacation for 2 weeks now.
Oh, what did you do?
This is what they claimed. I'll put it in the private chat. Then I want to say it out loud.
Okay, no, just send it in like Twitter DMs or something, I guess. Oh, okay. There.
Another random like that. So now they can't post for 2 weeks.
Fantastic. Hey, I got something that will cheer you up though. So I did one of those tournament streams with you know who, because I just do them in my free. Well, I do them in my free time because they send me invites, I guess. But yeah. So we did a best boxing movie tournament. And yeah, they picked Real Steel over Raging Bull.
Oh, it's Hugh Jackman?
Yeah. They picked that over Raging Bull.
People also
one of the greatest films of all time.
These people also picked freaking the
they picked Jaden Smith's Karate Kid over the original.
It's like, what? How am I supposed to take this shit seriously?
Yeah, it's pretty funny when it happens.
How am I supposed to like take any of this seriously? This is ridiculous. My ears would. I just got ear aids listening to that shit.
Yeah.
Were you on the one with the best heist films?
Yeah, we did that too. Yeah, that was.
What they put as Ant-Man #1?
No,
what the fuck?
That wasn't even in it. Surprisingly, but yeah, they put the original 1960s Ocean 11 #1.
The best vampire movies of all time. What they put Twilight #1 or some shit?
Oh my god. Yeah, the vampire one and the heist ones though. Yeah, so basically I picked some films that were great over other films that were not that great but popular, and they laughed and said that I know nothing about films or that my opinions are shit. And then I said, why did you hate my choice? That one's great. And they're like, oh, I never seen it before. It's like, wait, you're trashing on you've never even seen it. How do you know? What the fuck? And that's what they do like every tournament. They're like, what the fuck? It's like, why? Have you seen it? No. I just know it's shit in my heart. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I'm in the minority. I'm like, you do realize this film is way more praised on every site than this other film, right? And they're like, yeah, well, those people's opinions don't matter. The people's opinions that matter are, the people in real life who you like talk to at certain conventions. I'm like, so fanboys of the films you like. Yeah. It's like, what? Yeah, they exist in every film. What are you talking about? It's like okay, so don't listen to the general consensus. Like when you are deciding, what's better between Endgame and Eternals. Don't say it's Endgame. Say when you go to like an Eternals fanboy convention and they say Eternals is better, believe those people.
Oh, my God.
It's pretty funny.
Hey, why is my opinion not good? I don't know, because I haven't watched. Like, well, I would have just AFK'd in. I'd have been like, my ear, just literally take 2 rods and shove them through your ears, because that would have just been ear aids.
Yeah, well, I don't take it seriously, because 1, I just find it flat out funny, but 2, because anytime
I wouldn't take it seriously either, coming from
and number 2, because when they say that, but then they have opinions and takes like that, it literally like just proves my point. I don't even need to say anything. I'm just on mute, letting them do it themselves.
That's like someone saying, like if you're ranking candy and you were ranking like what's better, Kit Kat or Hershey's, like, I think Hershey's is better. Someone said, but your opinion's wrong. Why? If you were tried Kit Kat, no, I just know in my heart it's better. What the fuck? What the hell?
Yep.
What the heck? What the fuck? Man. Oh, Disney Plus is losing subs. Who would have thunk it? Low quality content.
I'll send you that clip. I'll send you a clip of one of those moments if I find it. But yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, Disney losing money. I mean, wow, imagine a streaming service where they're making no good content is losing money. That's a surprise.
Yeah. So surprise. Wow. This girl's vagina's hanging out pretty good.
Jesus fuck. Yeah,
so great.
Apple TV, the only thing they've really made of quality is Ted Lasso. That's it.
Like, holy crap.
I
mean, they made, what did I think, Cherry, right? The Russo brothers?
Yeah, that was...
It was a movie.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad movie. That was a bad movie. That it did
Imagine
not
being a
know.
writer nowadays and coming into a student being like, "What's your portfolio?" I wrote Morbius, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022, and Jurassic World Dominion. That's your portfolio.
And actually getting a job. Yeah. No, that Cherry film is like, it didn't know what it wanted to be, and it tried multiple things and it failed, and they tried saying it was a film about the opioid epidemic, but it said nothing about it. What are you talking about? Oh god, that was a bad film.
Let's go titties hanging out.
God. No, I have to feel bad for filmmakers though. They're making literally horrible films like Cherry and The Gray Man, and they keep getting to make them with like $250 million budgets, and they've never made like a single good film in their careers besides one that had Peter Dinklage in it, I believe. Besides that, they made before the Avengers films. Besides that, nothing. But they still keep getting the budget and green lights to do it because they made Endgame. It's like, I want to throw up.
It's just ridiculous.
It's like Endgame wasn't even that good. Neither was Infinity War. They weren't that good.
Yeah. It's someone come and be like, "Hey, I wrote Morbius, one of the movies of all time."
One of the movies of all time, yeah.
It made more $1 billion.
Yeah, oh my god. That actually reminded me of something though. Like that Kraven the Hunter film that's coming out. Obviously.
That's gonna be one of the movies of all time too.
Jesus Christ. No, I want you to okay, so this is the sending a link here. So that's a link to the movie, and it has the writers for it. I want you to just click on all three of the one of them I think has actually done decent stuff, or maybe not, he might be new, but click on the three writers and look at the stuff they've done prior. And they're writing Kraven the Hunter.
So if you're gonna write Kraven the Hunter, okay, let me see what they wrote.
One of them hasn't done bad stuff. Richard Wank has done sort of decent stuff, but the other two, nothing. Besides maybe the first Iron Man. That's it.
Writers. Okay, Kraven the Hunter. Check. Yeah. You said click the three writers, right?
Yeah, the original. Writers: Art Marcoum, Matt Holloway, Richard Wank.
Okay, Uncharted. MLB International. Last Night.
Yep, and then the other guy is pretty much the same as him, and then the third guy has done some decent
The Last
stuff.
Night?
Yep. And then the third guy has done not horrible.
All three of them wrote on The Last Night? Man, no reason why that was a dumpster fire.
No, not the third one. Richard Wank didn't. He did
the last guy.
Stuff.
He put out Jack Reacher, Equalizer.
Yeah. He done some decent stuff, and then he also did some garbage stuff like The Protege. So that guy not too bad, but the other two, what the fuck? Like, how does somebody with that portfolio get to write
English?
Sorry, I can't speak because this is pissing me off. Whatever. It's like they did Iron Man 1, so it's now they have like a safety net to do whatever. And it's like Sony, it's like they don't even give a fuck. They're just pumping these out. So they're like, yeah, come on board. I'll just imagine a fucking two writers who wrote Uncharted, The Last Night.
Hey, can I write this Academy Award-winning movie? All right, what are your credentials, sir? The Transformers: The Last Night and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022.
But that is like the worst Transformers film as well. That's the funny part. And then International, and then
What's actually
Uncharted.
crazy is The Last Night is even worse than Age of Extinction, which is already terrible. That's actual skill. If you write a movie worse than Age of Extinction, that's some. To be fair, just off that alone, that's actually skill. I'm just saying that's skill itself.
Anyway, so now that the writer's strike has happened, and expect that those people to get hired in that quality of writing. So
hell yeah. But all right, guys, we will see you on Sunday. I think Sean will be here for that one. Depends. I don't really like Canadians that much, actually.
I'm available anytime. Just fucking give me like a 2-hour heads up at least.
All right, guys. See you on Sunday, 5 or 5:30 p.m. PST. Peace out, guys.